How's it going, everyone? Chris here with another Battlefield 3 weapon guide. This time around we're going to take a look at the M416, which is an assault rifle that you get in the assault category. It's the first unlocked weapon after the default weapons, and it's unlocked after 22,000 assault score. So in real life, the M416 is known as the Heckler & Koch HK416, which is based on the M4 carbine assault rifle, hence the name in Battlefield as M416. The two weapons are pretty similar, but the 416 has a couple of changes by Heckler & Koch, including a new gas operating system, and the overall appearance of it is pretty similar, mainly the main receiver and the telescopic stock, but the 416 has lots more pretty cool RAS rails, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favourite all-time weapons in real life, so I'm really happy to get to play with it in Battlefield 3. It's used in real life by various special forces groups from various NATO countries, including the United States, France, Germany and Italy. So like I mentioned in game, it's the M416. It's the first weapon you unlock in the assault kit. So it's the weapon that you get to use across both factions after the default M16 and the AK-74. So first up, let's take a look at some stats for the M416. The M416 does pretty moderate damage, but its shining feature is its recoil. It has a very low recoil when compared to both the M16 and the AK-74, and even the other weapons that are unlocked later on in the assault category. This makes it really easy to use, and it's actually one I prefer over many of the other weapons. Some of the other weapons with their higher recoil, you find that a lot of your shots miss, so you tend to find that it takes a lot longer than it should to take someone out. But although it only has quite a moderate power, that low recoil really does make a big difference. The capacity is 31 rounds. That's 30 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. That's the highest you get out of all the assault rifles. And the rate of fire, 750 rounds per minute, which is pretty average, not the highest, but it's definitely not the slowest firing weapon. So like I mentioned, the M416, or rather the HK416, is one of my favourite weapons in real life, so I was really happy to use it in Battlefield 3, and it really did live up to my expectations when I unlocked it. It's pretty easy to get hold of with just 22,000 assault score from the assault kit, so you don't have to play for too long to be able to get your hands on it, and it's obviously one that does help you out in that you can use it across both factions rather than having to switch between the M16 and the AK-74. You can use this weapon no matter whether you're on the attacking or defending side. Another cool feature about the M416 in Battlefield 3 is its fire modes. It not only has fully automatic and semi-automatic, but also has a third fire rate of 3-round burst mode, which you can toggle through using the upwards selector on the D-pad. Obviously this makes it much more versatile than just being able to use it either as fully automatic or semi-automatic. Obviously fully automatic is great for up close combat, and semi-automatic is great for long range shots, but that 3-round burst really does make it competitive in both up close and long range encounters. You can basically leave it on 3-round bursts and just go running around the battlefield, not having to change it. Repeatedly pressing the trigger in 3-round burst mode will basically make it a fully automatic weapon in that it fires that fast. There's not really much difference, and obviously just taking your time with the trigger and just letting off one shot at a time just replicates that semi-automatic mode with just one shot at a time. It's just unfortunate that the M416 is only available in the assault kit. I would love to use it across the engineer, the support or recon classes, but there's plenty of other weapons in the PDW slot that do make up for that, which we'll obviously take a look at a later date. So let's move on and take a look at my recommendation for a configuration of the M416 with various accessories and attachments. First up, the optic. Obviously we get an option of all sorts of optics, from low zoom scopes or no zoom scopes like the red dot sight and the holographic sight. We've also got the higher zoom scopes, and there's also the infrared scope after 100 kills. But my preference goes with the plain old reflex sight, the non-magnifying gun sight with a red dot reticle. You get this just after 50 kills, and it just helps you replace the default iron sights with a nice window and reticle. It makes it much more easy to take out those shots and keep your shots on target. Having a pretty low recoil does mean it's one of those weapons that can be more suited to higher zoom scopes, but I definitely find that the red dot on the holographic sights just see me through most game types. A lot of the time in games like Rush, you'll be finding yourself in close quarters combat anyway when you're trying to arm and disarm those MCOM stations. So the longer range zoom scopes, I find it's just not quite as good as using a sniper rifle or some sort of LMG. So I prefer to run around and blaze people down at close quarters. So my preference goes with the holographic or reflex sight. The 416, like we mentioned, has already got a low recoil as standard, but we can increase this even more with the foregrip as the primary accessory. You get the foregrip after just 30 kills, and it decreases the horizontal recoil when firing. It doesn't do anything about the vertical recoil, but decreasing that horizontal recoil, that side-to-side sway, it just really does help keep your shots on target, so you don't have to worry too much about kind of drawing an outline around the bad guy. As for the secondary attachment, a good choice would have been the suppressor, but seeing as the weapon's got pretty low recoil, it does make getting your long range shots pretty easy, so you don't really want to decrease that long range damage with the suppressor. So my preference goes with the heavy barrel at just 20 kills. The heavy barrel increases your accuracy, but also increases the vertical recoil, so you really want to be switching over to that semi-automatic or 3-round burst mode when using the heavy barrel. It'll make it much easier to take out those long range shots, and that your shots will go exactly where you're pointing the weapon, with it being armed with heavier rounds, so they'll go directly straight rather than being affected by the bullet drop as much. So that's my guide to the M416 assault rifle in Battlefield 3. If you enjoyed it, please consider dropping me a thumbs up, or maybe subscribe to stick around for all the upcoming weapon guides. I'll be covering all the unlockable weapons from various kits, the assault kit, the engineer kit, support kit and the recon kit, as well as the cool PDW weapons that you get to use across all kits. So stick around for those. Let me know what you think to my recommended configuration down in the comments. Do you prefer any of the other optics or accessories? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.